everyone, this is Miss Ella. Thank you for joining me again for a new music lesson. Since the beginning of our program, we have been learning about the different periods in the history of European classical music, using our musical time machine to travel from one period to another. We started in the medieval period, then we moved to the Renaissance period, then to the Baroque period, followed by the classical period, and we continued with the Romantic period. We even learned about jazz music, which was created at the same time here in the United States. We are talking about 1,000 years of music. Don't you think music has changed a lot during all these years? Today we will travel 80 years back to what we call the modern period. Before we start talking about this special period and about what was happening at that time, let's start with our musical game. Last week we added one note to our game and we also added some rhythm to it. I also told you that we still need to learn 2 more notes. Do you remember? So I would like us to add one note today and one note in our next lesson. We will still play with different rhythms, so keep paying attention to the notes and to the rhythm. Our new note for today is La. Do you remember the other notes? Do, Re, Mi, Fa, and Sol. And we're adding La today. Listen carefully and repeat after me. Do, Re, Mi. Re, Mi, Fa. Mi, Fa, Sol. La. Sol, Fa. Mi, Fa, Mi, Re. Do, Mi, Sol. Fa, Mi, Re. Mi, Fa, Sol. La, Fa, Re. Mi, Fa, Mi, Re. Re, Mi, Re, Do. Very good! In our lesson today, you will see that we don't always need to use precise notes to write music. Let's travel with our musical time machine to the modern period and see how new music sounds. The music you just heard is an example from a piece written in the modern period, which started about 80 years ago, but actually continues even today. It will be impossible to present to you all the different styles of music which have been developed from the beginning of the modern period. But there is something in common between all the composers from that time. They all tried to break the rules. Imagine that you come to school and you're allowed to sit on the tables, to draw on the walls, to eat whenever you feel like it, to go to recess anytime you want, and to choose the subject you're going to learn. Sounds like a lot of fun, don't you think? Well, from the beginning of the modern period, the composers felt they could write music in their own way, and it was a very exciting period for them. But what does it really mean to break the rules when we talk about music? The first thing that changed was bringing closer music and what you might describe as noise. Let's listen to an example. I bet it's very different from anything else you have ever heard in your life, right? That's the great thing about the modern period. Composers can write anything they feel like writing. At the same time, if you were listening carefully, you could have heard a real orchestra and a piano. Did you hear it? Some composers felt that the new way to write music would be to take those instruments which people were using for hundreds of years and make them sound differently, as if they were inventing new instruments. Let's see how it can be done with a piano, for example. You already know how a piano sounds. We heard many different examples in our lessons together. Now let's hear how a prepared piano sounds. This is the name for this new old instrument. By putting different objects on the piano strings, the sound of the piano will be very different. Quite amazing, don't you think? Imagine how many possibilities the composers had now that they could use the instruments in a new and different way. Listen to another example, another idea of using an instrument differently in order to create new sounds. You will hear a metallophone, which is a percussion instrument. Normally, it's played with two mallets, as you can see on the picture. In this piece, it will be played in different ways. Try to find what are the new ways of using this instrument. So, what did you see? There were different metallic objects on the metallophone, which made the sound of the metallophone different. One of the players was playing with a bow, the same bow we use for string instruments, like the violin we have discovered already together. What a beautiful sound, and what a great idea! And one more thing. One of the players was stopping the vibration of the metallophone. This is also another different sound. Percussion instruments fascinated many composers since the beginning of the modern period, because it's a very large family with many instruments and so many different sounds in it. In the piece you will hear, you will see some percussion instruments. This is such a complicated piece and there are so many parts in it that you will see there is also a conductor on stage. find it hard to believe, but one way of writing music in the modern period is by using simple sentences and saying them in rhythm. For example, I can take the sentence, "We are learning music," and I can say it in one way. We are learning music. We are learning music. Say it with me, with this rhythm. We are learning music. We are learning music. But I can also say it with another rhythm. We are learning music. We are learning music. Say it with me. We are learning music. We are learning music. If I combine those two, I can create a musical sentence. We are learning music. We are learning music. We are learning music. We are learning music. Say it with me. We are learning music. We are learning music. We are learning music. We are learning music. Let's listen to the beginning of a piece in which the words create different rhythms. The name of the piece is Living Room Music. Listen carefully and try to see if you can understand the words the musicians are saying.
Once upon a time, a once upon a time, a once upon a time, a time, a time, a once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, a once upon a time, a time, once upon a time, upon a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, upon a time, upon a world, 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 once upon a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, a time, a once upon a time. The world was round, and you, and it, and you could go on it, you could go, and you could go on it, and you could go on it, and you could go and you, and it, and you and it, you could go round.
Did you hear all the different rhythms? The name of the part we just heard is story, probably because they were telling a story sitting in their living room. This piece was written 80 years ago by an American composer named John Cage. Did you understand the words they were saying? This piece started with the words once upon a time, and the rhythm for these words was once upon a time, a once upon a time. Say it with me. Once upon a time, a once upon a time. One more time. Once upon a time, a once upon a time. Another rhythm I would like us to do together is the world was round. Say it with me. The world was round. Again, the world was round. Very good. And the last rhythm, before we listen again to the beginning of the piece, we will do it slowly. It's not an easy one. Listen once. And you, and it, and you could go on it. And you, and it, and you could go on it. Say it with me. And you, and it, and you could go on it. One more time. And you, and it, and you could go on it. Very good. Let's listen again to the beginning of this piece. I'm sure you will recognize the rhythms we worked on.
Once upon a time, a once upon a time, once upon a time, a time, a once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, a once upon a time, a time, once upon a time, upon a time, upon a time, a once upon a time, upon a time, upon a road, once upon a time, a time, upon a time, a time upon a time, a time, and once upon a time, the world was round, and you, and eat, and you could go and eat, you could go, and you could go and eat, and you could go and eat, you could go and you, and eat, and you and eat. You could go and you could go and eat, and you and eat. You could go and you, and you eat. You could go and eat, and you could go around and around and around, around and around, around and around, around and around and around.
You see, even creating rhythms while talking is music in the modern world. We learned today about the modern period. This new music is very different from all we have been listening to from the beginning of our program. This period is actually not over yet, and even today, composers continue to look for new ways to write music. Our lesson is over for today. I wish you a happy new year, and I will see you next time for another adventure.